All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the June 2nd Board of Public Works and Safety. We are streaming live on City Madison YouTube channel and archiving it there. Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Carl Eaglin.
Here.
Bob Courtney.
Here.
And Dave Carlo.
Here.
Board, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from Monday, May 19th? If so, please make a motion to approve such minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And moving on, no adjustments, unfinished business. So we'll move to new business.
Claims.
Oh, darn it, I always skip through that. Claims.
Mayor had an opportunity to review the claims. I'll make a motion that the general claim docket and the payroll claim docket be approved as submitted.
I'll second David.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now we can move to a report by Chris Hale, our Director of Facilities, Streets, and Solid Waste.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
There we go.
All right, there we go. Sorry. All right, so today I'm here to ask you guys to approve a contract for service agreement with Earth Shaping LLC. So as you know, we've been trying to manage the compost yard better in a more appropriate manner and keep it from building up. What this contract will do is for $25,000 a year, it will keep the compost ground and emptied out of the compost yard a minimum of twice a year. So it's in the range of what we've been paying previously to do that about once a year, and this will keep the compost yard from building up. This will also lock in our price. It gives us the renewal option for the next 5 years after this year. So we'll be able to control that cost for the next 5 years.
Chris, if we have to have the compost removed more frequently, would there be an added charge to that?
No,
Okay.
twice a
Twice a
year
year.
is more than enough. We've been doing
Okay.
it about once a year on average, but it tends to be more than we want piled up there. So this will double that, right? We've been getting it ground once a year. This will double that and keep the yard fairly empty.
We've obviously been incurring this expense, and we took it into consideration when we did the TSO modernization plan. And I would just say for the board and for the public, it's amazing how much compost we collect throughout the community, much of which is curbside, as well as what the city picks up in its public spaces. It's an unbelievable amount of compost,
Yes,
particularly when you think of limbs, trees, and leaves.
and leaves in the fall,
leaves, yeah.
right? And grass clippings throughout the mowing season. And then even just like flood debris, there were tons and tons of just flood debris that we recently put in there. So the good thing about this is it's not by weight or volume. It's just however much goes into the compost yard that year. So if we have a flood year where there's more, it won't cost us extra. So, and the material's going to good use. They're going to take the wood chips and mix it with other organic material and make true compost that can go to like people's gardens, to farm fields, stuff like that.
Good deal. Also very environmentally friendly is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Board, any questions for Chris?
No.
Comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none?
I
Mayor-
make a motion, we accept the contract service agreement with city for Shaping LLC.
I'll second your motion.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Our Madison Police Department Chief Sean Scudder on traffic safety initiative and other items of interest.
I don't know if I have any other items that are interesting, but we'll talk about traffic safety.
You always do.
So if you're not aware, 1st of May, we implemented a traffic enforcement plan across the city. And the goal was to increase our visibility and also decrease the number of accidents. So we had almost 800 traffic stops in the month of May. If you compare that to April, we had just over 70. And then preceding months, January, February, March, were roughly that or maybe a little bit lower. So we're 10 times what we stopped in May. And it's hard to judge, but I went back and looked at our accidents from last May and compared them to this May, and we're down 12%, which I think is a great achievement, and I'm going to continue to monitor that. I'm really looking at May, June, and July over the last 3 years, and I want to compare those numbers when we get to the end of July. And my goal was to get about a 15 to 20% reduction in accidents. So I think we're on our way. So that's, if you guys have any more questions, that's what we're working on right now.
To get that type of volume, sounds like you've got a lot of good engagement across the police department, so I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. And you hear about traffic and traffic safety being a top concern of people in our community. We have a very safe community relative to other types of crime, but when it comes to vehicular issues, it's all over the board and very prevalent, so I appreciate you guys
Absolutely.
tackling it, and consistency throughout the course of the summer is going to be really
I think
important
it's
as
gonna
we
be huge. And,
step it up.
Going from, 71 in May traffic stops to 790, you also got to consider that our call volume increases as we come out of the colder months. So on top of the traffic stops, they're dealing with more calls as well. So they're really putting in a lot of effort, and I appreciate it.
Yep, and as the weather warms up, we've got a lot of out-of-town traffic that's
Yes.
coming in to visit Madison or drive through Madison.
And I haven't pulled the numbers. I will, to compare out-of-state residents versus local residents. But I'd say it's probably pretty evenly spread out.
I know that with Captain Stefan not being here, do you feel like we've got the same visibility with overweight truck enforcement on Main Street?
Obviously, it's not going to be as high as it was with him. He was dedicating a full day to concentrating just on semis, and the officers are more spread out. But that is something that we've discussed, is putting more resources or allocating more time towards enforcing the weight limits.
I know there was some confusion on which vehicles you could, actually put on the streets, the golf carts versus the side-by-sides. Has that kind of mellowed out a little bit?
Yeah, we had a lot of questions when that ordinance was first presented to council, but I think everybody's understanding now. Side-by-sides are not allowed on city streets unless it's a special event that gets permission from you guys.
I know a friend of mine bought one, he's in Trimble County. He said it will actually do 85 mile an hour.
Yeah.
85 miles an hour?
Six-seater.
Not surprised. Those Razors and those vehicles like that, they're great off-road vehicles.
Off-road.
Off-road.
Chief, of the 790 traffic stops, all those traffic stops didn't necessarily get a citation.
No.
They were traffic stops.
Yeah, I think we're tracking like 10 to 20% are issued a citation, the rest are warnings, and that's pretty consistent with what we've done in the past. I went back and looked at some historical numbers, and that seems to be about the average. So that, and I'm not encouraging the write tickets over warnings. I think just being visible and bringing awareness to situations really goes a long way, so it doesn't always require issuing a citation.
Has the issuance of citations increased the past month?
No, I think it's like percentage-wise, it's about the same as it's always been.
I mean, citations not related to traffic stops. I mean, I'm
Like parking.
like
situations.
parkings,
Yeah,
any.
so that's something that third shift especially is tracking really well on, because the traffic volume's lower. So they're going around town and trying to address some of these parking issues throughout town, just to kind of fill in the gaps, and, since they can't stop cars because they're not there, so.
Yeah.
I noticed on 3rd Street there between Jefferson and Walnut, used to be a lot of confusion with where you should be as far as what direction your vehicle should be. And I've noticed in the last 2 weeks, it's gotten a lot better. It seems like people's kind of, where they should be now and not
Good.
pulling out into the traffic.
That's our goal, is just to get everybody aware and have everybody comply with the, and that's a state statute that you need to park with the flow of traffic.
And I'll just reiterate again, the best thing we can do for traffic safety is for those people driving the vehicles, parking the vehicles, to follow the local ordinances and state ordinances, not be distracted, and also just follow good behavior.
Yeah,
As-
we've only got so many resources
That's,
working at a time, so it takes the public being aware.
it does, and
So-
we're doing what we can on designing of roads and, where we're looking at installing speed tables and stop signs and
Yep.
those things to just get people to slow down. And recently, we approved the three-way stops on Vaughn Drive, which we're
Yep.
working on, but, the traffic data we had there was there were people driving over 75 miles an hour in some instances on Vaughn Drive, and that's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
But it is happening, and I would say, don't blame the police that they weren't there, blame the people who are behind the wheels. That's the best thing, is if we could just get better driver behavior, that would make a big difference. And I think, majority of them are following the law.
They are.
It's always that small percentage that's creating the risk for everyone else. Any other questions for Chief? You want
Chief,
to talk
I've
about?
noticed some of your public service announcements on your Facebook, social media, Facebook page. And
Yes.
I encourage you to go forward with that, maybe expand some more, and I think they're helpful.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I've, Captain Jackson, she's working with Hannah and Kristen in the communications to put those together. It seems to have a really good response, and they're trying to target so I think this month was like out of school, something related to kids being out of school.
Mhm.
So they're trying to target what's going on at that specific time, and I think they've got them scheduled where they're doing them once a month.
Yeah.
But we could definitely look at increasing that. We just
Maybe,
don't want
yeah.
to overwhelm.
Don't want to
people.
overload it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think those are effective, so.
Chief, you want to talk about city council meeting tomorrow night and what's on the agenda there? Because you'll be also on that agenda.
Yes, so we're going to be honoring 3 officers, 1 from the Madison Police Department and 2 from the Sheriff's Department. As I'm sure you're aware, we had a very violent crime occur a few weeks ago up on the hilltop, and it resulted in the death of 1 person, and by the quick actions of these 3 officers, I'm confident they saved 3 more lives. They were there within minutes, no hesitation, made entry into this apartment and secured the suspect, who was armed at the time. So very quick actions, no hesitation, like I said, confident that they saved the other 3 people that she was trying to get to.
Great, look forward to that, and
Yeah.
invite the Board of Public Works and the public to attend that ceremony. Because we're always focused on a lot of things, sometimes we take for granted the risk that our officers put themselves in situations that they don't know what they're walking into or going to see.
They absolutely, you
Yeah.
know, I'm not going to show body cam tomorrow. It would be great because it would really make people aware of what these guys face every day. But since the case is still pending, I don't want to put that out there yet. But just watching the body cam will give you chills. It was a very dangerous situation, but they did great. So very professional. I was super proud.
Great.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
And Brenda Haley here for PACE program. We'll give us a little background from the last meeting, bring us from then to now.
Yes, so you guys saw this last meeting. You didn't have the packet, but you did see it in the PowerPoint. So this is an application for 611 West 2nd Street. It's a rehab grant requesting $7,500, and they will be doing window replacement, tuck pointing, and repainting the tuck pointed brick. This was one that we were putting in for money transferring from the 75%, which I think has already been approved, but this is the application officially for you guys.
That's a beautiful property, and again, preservation being key for our quality of life and the district downtown. We did discuss this property at the last meeting. Anything else, any other questions you want to ask Brenna on this? If not, I'll move that we approve the application for 611 West 2nd Street for PACE grant in the amount of $7,500 as presented.
I'll second the mayor's motion.
Any discussion? Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Brendan, thank you. Thank the property owner who's investing in their home there. Last up, we have a Resolution 2025-32B, and since Joe is not here, I'll ask our clerk treasurer if she'd like to read the title.
Resolution 2025-32B, a resolution of the Board of Public Works of the City of Madison, Indiana, vacating an unused water line easement in connection with new development.
You know, my apologies, I totally forgot that you were hoarse, and I just went straight to the normal. This is, as the title describes, just an unused easement that the city has agreed to vacate since it's not necessary for our superintendent of utilities. And this would allow for that development to continue. The location of it is Cliffy Drive. Hold on a second here. 1200 plus Cliffy Drive. Board, any comments or questions? Anybody in the audience? Hearing none? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I make a motion, we approve resolution
Oh, we do need a motion, sorry.
2025-32B.
Jump right ahead.
I'll second your motion.
Any discussion? Comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Shirley. All right, moving on to mayor's comments. Not a whole lot to add there, other than it's been a few weeks since we've met. Memorial Day weekend in Madison went great. Town was hopping. I want to, again, extend a lot of gratitude for all the city teams who have worked so diligently over the last 7-8 weeks to bring our riverfront back. Many people commented over the last several weeks that you couldn't tell that there was a flood there just a few weeks ago. Campground was full. Yesterday, the Crystal Beach had opened over last Friday, so the pool was hopping. Downtown's been very busy with the warm weather. So very happy with the direction that that's going. And then we're leaning into a lot of our events with the July 4th weekend fast approaching, preparations for that, but just a lot of things happening in between then with music in the park and other events. So we're going to continue to do our best to make sure Madison shines during those moments, but it takes a lot of work by the city and our businesses and volunteers and contributors, everybody who are residents who are all working very hard for Madison to shine, and it is. Board, do you have anything you'd like to add before we go into public comments?
It was good to see all the restrooms open, and the one on Main Street there at the comfort station, that's just a really nice job.
Oh, you're right, yeah, both the
down West
public
Street.
bathrooms were restored. The one at the Bicentennial was delayed because of the flood. The partnership with VMI and the grant from JCBT helped us get to the comfort station quicker. That space looks really good. And then, mention there still is a lot of work to be done on the riverfront, even though it looks like it's back to normal. Over the next few weeks, we should be able to complete the repairs at Hargan Matthews, the park, the children's park there. I want to remind everybody that while that is closed, there's still parks at Welch Park and Gaines Park with playground equipment in it. Playgrounds on the hilltop as well. And the basketball courts at Crystal Beach. And again, we have 24 parks and a lot of open space and green space in Madison. So hopefully this interim disruption is not too bad, and we'll get back to normal when we get Hargan Matthews reopened.
I was happy to see Chill Billy's open on Coast Beach.
It's summer when Chill Billy's is open.
And there was a lot of people downtown Madison on the riverfront yesterday, and there was no parking available at Chill Billy's. I was a little upset.
Chill Billy's was full, huh?
I got over
Parking nearby.
with Dairy Queen. Good. That's all I had.
Anything else, Dave?
Nope.
I want to thank the library for the Touch a Truck event today in partnership with the city. It was really cool. A lot of kids were up there with their parents and enjoying, again, kind of a firsthand look at a lot of different types of equipment, fire trucks and recycling and solid waste, and our lightning loader was there, police cars were there. Kona Ice obviously was a big hit right there in the middle, but the library was very involved in helping organize that. We'll now open it up to public comment. Anybody here would like to address Board of Public Works and Safety? Please come to the podium with your name and address and your remarks, please.
Lisa Ferguson, 718 East 2nd Street. I'm not sure I'll be able to be at City Council tomorrow night, so I just wanted to encourage you all with the June 16th Planning and Zoning meeting to consider putting it at the Brown Gym. I know it's, whether you're for or against, there's a lot of feelings about it. I just feel like as a democracy, we deserve to have a room full of people and not, be hindered by the fire codes. And so I don't care one way or the other how it goes, I really don't, but I just feel like, we already know that's kind of been contentious, and I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow night, so I just thought we'll bring that up to you.
Well, I just want to mention that it's really difficult to move a meeting like that. We rely a lot on the technology for the presentations during that meeting, but the reason, right, that we've also early on adopted the YouTube is so that we could stream everything live so that you physically wouldn't have to be here. I know there's a lot of interest in that meeting, and we're going to do our best to get through it, but we're going to encourage people, watch it through the streaming methodology if you can. Yeah, if you can't be here. Thank you.
Hi, Jan Vatrus, 701 East 2nd Street. I just want to echo Lisa's thing. We do have people that can film with a camera at the Brown Gym, and we do have microphones at the Brown Gym. And it's not just about watching it on TV, it's about being able to ask questions, it's being able to see more of the drawings. So I encourage you to move it to the Brown Gym, and we can certainly take care of the technology. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, our next meeting is Monday, June the 16th. If there's nothing else, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that motion.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, everybody.